I decided to be a therapist when I was 10. I was walking through the forest one day, and I was feeling pretty down at the time. Let's see, what happened? Well, basically, I got a message from the trees. And the trees told me, someday you'll use this pain to help other people. And I thought, well, okay. So I've been trying to reach out to other people to help other people for, God, I don't know, 60 years, more than that. So that was basically why I became a therapist. For a little while, I thought I'd be a jazz singer when I was in college. I did a lot of singing in high school and in college, and I sang in coffee houses and made a little money on the side that way. So I was thinking, God, I'd love to sing jazz. That'd be so much fun, be part of a little quartet or something, Manhattan Transfer, why not? Except I wasn't good enough. But other than that. But then I realized, oh no, if I was a singer, I'd have to stay up really late till 2 in the morning. I'd have to inhale a lot of cigarette smoke. Remember, this was back in the 60s. And no, that would be terrible. What else can I do? So the only other thing I can do fairly well is listen to people and witness other people and try to express warmth and heart and bring the truth to other people. And most of the time, the truth is something that is an improvement over how people are thinking about themselves. A lot of times people think harsh things about themselves. As many of you may know, I certainly knew that. I did that a lot as a kid. And so presenting the truth really means mirroring back to people the goodness in them, the tenderness in them, the gentleness, the trauma sometimes, their strength, their resilience, their power. And that is something that I love doing because most people don't get loved well enough, and people need that. So if I can provide that in some way for people, I try. The reason I went into couples therapy is a whole nother story. So what happened is that basically I started working with individuals. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be a little bitty therapist in a little bitty office talking to wonderful individuals. Okay. Well then, I met John when I was 35. We married when I was, 36. And he, as you well know, was doing research on couples. And the research was all that early primary research about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Why are people critical? We've got to give them alternatives and so on. But he wasn't really trying hard to help people at that time. And I wanted to stay in my own lane. I wanted to just, okay, I'll just do private practice with my individuals. He'll do his research at the university, and we'll just be dandy that way. Well, guess what? Every night at dinner, he would tell me about his research. And gosh dang it, the research was so interesting. It was fascinating. And so at one point, we were asked to do a group for parents who were maybe struggling with raising their kids. And he would just observe things and just, ask people questions in this group that we met with every week. And afterwards, one day, I said, honey, why aren't we actually helping these people? Don't you think we should help these people? Sure, yeah. And then he went back to his research. And so another time we were out in the sea in a kayaking, and really loving, being together. And I said to him, how about if we actually use this research to create therapy, create interventions, create ways why people can actually have much better relationships, and how to do that. And he said, well, that sounds interesting. And so we began to work together, and we created our theory, the sound relationship house theory. That was the beginning. And then we started working together on interventions and creating interventions that really matched what the successful couples were doing. That didn't include us, by the way. That included all the wonderful couples that were coming into our research lab. And we tried to create exercises or structures or interventions that really matched what these successful couples were doing, because we weren't really sure what would make a difference. And then we did some outcome research and saw, my God, this makes a huge difference. So we refined those methods, we added more, and our couple therapy was born, and that was back in, 93, 94, right in there. And then we started the Gottman Institute. So we wanted to teach these methods and keep doing research on them, not only to couples, but also to clinicians, so that there could be a ripple effect. There could be more and more people who were hopefully using these methods of both assessment and therapy to reach out to their couples and to really empower both the couples and themselves to do work that was research-based and that really looked from the research like it would work much better. So that's the beginning of it all. So basically, the reason I went into couples therapy, it was fun, it was creative, it offered huge potential for changing the life, not only of individuals, but of parents, of their kids, of partners, of all genders, all sexual orientations. And I loved it. Pure and simple. Doing therapy has really changed my point of view about relationships in the sense that I'm blown away by how resilient love can be. For example, if we have a couple who has really struggled in their relationship, maybe they've had a lot of affairs, maybe they haven't said more than 3 words to each other in 15 years, maybe haven't had sex in 10 years. Can they change? Can they recreate love? And the answer is yes. That's the thing that's so mind-boggling, is that love has its own resilience. Individuals do too, but people's capacity to love is so beautiful. The other thing, too, is that love is something that really can be burned out to the last little tiny ember, little tiny spark way down there in the ashes. And sometimes all you have to do is just blow on it a little bit and give people different ways of narrating what they need, what they may like, what they may want, without criticizing or blaming their partners. And lo and behold, people want to hear. People want to listen to each other. And they see each other multidimensionally in every different facet. So, love is not a romantic fairy tale. It may start out that way. It's Disney, with the fireworks over the castle. Yay. But then, the princess is inside the castle saying, "Where the heck is the prince? I wanted him to come at 6 o'clock for dinner." There's a lot of ways in which relationships have to get their feet on the ground. It's not about finding your ideal soulmate, because there can be a million of those out there. It's really about how to be your best self. And that includes how to be the most loving and compassionate you can be, and perceptive as well, so that you capture the vision of who your partner is with all the facets glowing, shining, beautiful, even though they're challenging, they're broken, they're maybe mistaken. Nonetheless, it's love between humans, not love between gods, goddesses, ideals. It's just human. And our capacity for love is infinite. So, gives me great hope for families and couples today. I don't have the power to save people's lives or save marriages per se, I think people have to want it. People have to work on wanting to change and changing. People have their own journey, and fate comes in and throws a few arrows at people. People have to cope with those. Everybody has things that happen to them that are not good. And I am the lucky one who gets to be a witness for people on their journeys, to connect as deeply as I can with people on their journey, in a manner of speaking, hold their hand as they're walking down this twisted path of life. They still have their own choices, their own journey to follow. So if they want company, I'm here.
In your opinion, what's the biggest challenge then that couples face today?
God, there's so many challenges. What are the challenges that face couples today, families today? Well, I think one of the challenges, it's so strange, because the challenge is also one of the great gifts. One of the challenges is the internet. One of the great gifts is the internet, right? So, the challenge is that we have been communicating a lot lately through text, through black and white, through emails and so on. And we're forgetting how to communicate face to face. So that is one of the challenges that technology presents to couples and relationships. Folks are expecting to process big emotional moments, big emotional events through black and white print. Well, look how much information you're losing. You're losing what's the person's face look like, what's the tone of their voice, how is their body moving, what expressions are they showing, what emotions are they feeling. A lot of times you can't tell that stuff from black and white print, clearly. So that creates a real challenge in listening to one another and understanding one another. There's also a fair amount of false information, kind of pseudo expertise out there that people want to follow that is wrong, dead on wrong. And when people follow it, they fail in their relationships. And that's a challenge, certainly, because there's so much stuff that's presented as truth that isn't truth, that has no research behind it, no evidence behind it, nothing. It's somebody's opinion. And the opinion is often from their own personal lives, and they can't really they can't really generalize in a decent way to what other people are experiencing, yet they pretend they can. Well, that's a problem. That's a real challenge. So I have a lot of people coming to see me that have seen other people. They may have seen 6 or 7 therapists and gotten some pretty bad advice that's just terrible. You've got to, not only as a therapist, you not only have to help them with better information, better knowledge, better intervention, deeper understanding. But you also have to build trust with yet another therapist who may lead you down the wrong path. And that can take a long time, just to build trust in your therapist that they're not, leading you over a cliff. One final piece of advice for couples at a crossroads: unless there is nothing but ashes left, nothing, absolutely nothing. You haven't felt any love, respect, fondness for your partner in, let's say, a year, good year. Go to therapy. That's probably, and try and find a decent therapist. A lot of people think they can fix it themselves. They can fix an affair. They can put it behind them. They can fix some verbal abuse, put it behind them, whatever. They can change. All they have to do is just put it under the rug. Don't. You got to face what's true. Start from a foundation of truth. Find a therapist who can really support both of you, not one or the other, but both of you. Therapy's not about nailing or blaming one person or the other, but really looking at what's between you, that golden sphere between you, the between, and find a good therapist to help you rebuild it. Because you can. May not be marriage number 1 or partnership number 1. It may end up being marriage number 2 with the same person. There is hope.